This is Del Patrick's. This is Drinking at Moe's. Enjoy the journey.
All right, everybody. Want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinking at Moe's be a brand ambassador. They encourage everybody to break out of that comfort zone, live their best self, which, hey, that's what got me starting the podcast. But they got great clothing, great apparel, t-shirts, hoodies, beanies, hats, all that good stuff. Be sure, link will be in the description, and use the code Drinkin' at Moe's to get 10% off your order. Let's fucking go.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Drinkin' at Moe's. Host Big Mo here. YouTube, as always, like, subscribe, comment, all that good shit, because that YouTube algorithm's a pain in the ass. We're most places you can find your podcast, so be sure to keep up on all the content we got coming up. Anyways, today I have with me Dale Patricks. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I can't complain. You know, I got some what I consider pretty big news actually just before we got started here. The SATs Spanish announce team got their promotion. Wrestling is now up in New York, and my show has actually got 4 interviews to be a part of their media tour they're doing for their big show next month. So,
Dude,
pretty
that's
excited.
A big deal. Congrats, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Dude, that's a big deal. Heck yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. You know, just getting the exact timing that we're gonna be recording nailed down. So just pretty excited, because I literally just maybe half an hour ago got done getting all that settled.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a pretty big deal, pretty big step. Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, I've had the SAT on before. They were actually the first ever episode I did recording over Zoom, and been itching to get them back on. So they're one of my 4 interviews, so pretty excited.
Heck yeah.
But one thing I like to get started off with each guest, especially the first time ones, what got you started as a fan, and then what got you started, when you made the leap into the ring?
Oof. Bear with me on this one, because it's been a second, but let's see. What got me started as a fan was Undertaker. Whenever I was super young, he was one of my favorite characters growing up, and he was like, he was just someone that kind of, at the time, I obviously, didn't know any of the like juicy inside words or anything like that, but
yeah,
it was like awe-inspiring. Like he was like a bigger than life character, just just an overextension of who he really is, which I really got attached to the the old school Undertaker character, and then slowly I started figuring out over time, wrestling, went through some of the Attitude Era, missed out on a bunch of it because get in trouble at school all the time about doing all the DX, suck it chops.
Yep, those DX chops definitely got a lot of us in trouble back then.
Yeah. Cool story, a little side note. At school, I was getting bullied by a couple of people, and I thought doing the Diamond Dallas Page diamond cutter, like the little fucking hand signal.
Yeah,
I thought that would stop him from whipping my ass, and this made him beat me up even worse. So anyways, I the growing of loving wrestling and wanting to watch it all the time just kept growing. And then when I got to an age after my dad passed away, it was something that I really wanted to do. It was something that I really was passionate about. And one of my buddies that I knew from school, he was already training under Billy Rock at that point in time. And right around then, I was going to like the old IPW shows here in Indy, see Drake, Moxley, and Jimmy Jacobs, and all those fucking crazy names, and just seeing them wrestling and coming up through that, like, made me want to do it even more.
Yeah.
And, finally got in with Billy Rock, started training, and then it was just onwards and upwards from there.
Nice. I know back then, Undertaker, like I remember hearing about, shortly after he debuted, and back then, I think, what was it, 1990 when he debuted?
Yeah.
And I was about 7 at the time. So like I think back then, Monday Night Raw wasn't a thing yet. And I just remember when I finally got my first glimpse of that character, I'm like, oh damn.
Yeah. I wasn't born until 91, September of 91. And right around then, like, my uncle was already a wrestling fan, so he kind of got me introduced into wrestling at that point. And then, it was just him giving me his, the tapes that he had, and the old WF Home Coliseum video shit.
Oh yeah.
So that was the good old days, man.
Oh man, yeah, I remember going to when they still had video rental stores, and I would always hunt out the wrestling section.
Dude, same.
Oh man, my favorites to pick out were always the Royal Rumble ones.
Yes. What wasn't the fucking the logos on those so fucking cool?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And the way they would have like so many of the wrestlers all on like they were all walking towards oh man.
Those
sick.
Are
some of the best ones ever.
Yeah, dude.
And you brought up the Attitude Era. I remember my personal favorite of that era, and one of the only people that I've even told this to my wife, I don't get starstruck much, but if I ever got to meet this guy, I don't know if I'd be able to get a word out. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I totally swear to God, man, I would, like, I got some figures of Funko Pop that I would love to get signed. I'd probably just be up there like,
yeah. Dude, same thing with Undertaker around then. God, he was such a badass. And he had his own look. You know what I mean? Like the V on the fucking on the goatee and shit. Like he was super fucking jacked and doing the ministry, dude.
Although from everything that I'm hearing and seeing of getting to meet the Undertaker nowadays, kind of gives me the same vibe of when I met Dan Severn. I met him, and like, I kid you not, I walked into the room where he was, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, before you even got to talk to him, it was just like, oh my God, that dude is intimidating as shit.
Yeah.
And then you got to talking to him, and holy shit, the nicest dude ever.
Dude. I have never gotten to meet Undertaker, but Dan Severn has always been the nicest person. You know what I mean? Like, just super down to earth. Yeah, everyone has their own beliefs, but you can't get past him just being just a nice person to anyone that he didn't act like he was doing all these cool big things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and I remember I asked him to do a TikTok, kind of like when that one guy did the thing with Brock Lesnar where he was talking about just being pissed off, and the next person that he saw he was going to just punch in the face, and then up behind him pops Brock Lesnar, and he's like, oh, I did this basically the same thing, but with Dan Severn. Like I ended it by like I was running off.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a cool getting to meet him. He did a show here in Omaha that I wasn't gonna miss.
Oh yeah.
But one thing, looking and doing my notes for research, that I've developed a bit, it seems, of a following in the deathmatch community, and I noticed a bunch of death matches on your resume. And I guess one thing that I know a lot of people that I've talked to have all experienced is getting asked why.
For me, why? There's a couple of different reasons. One, whenever I watched it growing up, it was always Cactus Jack. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's the obvious, thing that everyone goes to, and I get it. It's cliche, but the one that really stuck out with me was Randy Orton and Cactus Jack from
yeah.
And dude, that already, I was already enticed into like the hardcore stuff because I was kind of like, whenever I was a kid, I was doing the whole backyard deal, and I was jumping off ladders on the trampolines, and I was doing my own shit, And when I saw that match, it made me want to. When I saw that match, I had never felt so attached to a certain genre before. And then you have this other side. You have the real side. You have the, I was doing it because it was helping me go through a bunch of shit that was going on in my life. And I know that kind of sounds like morbid and fucked up, but it's true. So not only like that, I get into it with this just the love, but there's also this underhanded like self-mutilation, you know what I mean? Like I was trying to heal from my dad passing away and getting over that, and then trying just to get through everyday life. And
no, we all have our ways of coping, and there's some people might see some of the damage that gets done in those death matches and wonder like, oh my god. But you get the reaction out of the crowd and all that stuff that a lot of regular matches get. Sometimes they don't, but it's all a part of, I know people that I've talked to have all mentioned that reaction that they get. They might have a little nagging injury that just happened, but that reaction they get is kind of like what gets them to just puffing up for that little bit that they're still out there, and then go back and go get fixed up however they gotta.
For how crazy everyone is in the wrestling business, you know what I mean? Like we all have to be a little fucked up to do this shit, and unfortunately, it. Some of it weighs on us mentally, and it helps us get through stuff that we normally wouldn't know how to do just by ourselves. No, I'm not speaking for anyone. I'm just,
I can totally understand. I know, hell, I've talked my first ever legit death match, and not what I consider like a regular hardcore match that is getting billed as a death match, but it was late last year, and it was Jake Crisp versus Joel Bateman in a Iowa death match at Revolver.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, that whole match was crazy enough. I mean, it started off by they had just that show finished a Monsters Ball match, thumbtacks and all sorts of shit laying around, and they were getting ready to clean up, but then here runs in Jake Chris saying, "Fuck this shit, leave it, let's go." And then Joel Bateman comes out, boom, and ends by them taking 4 folding chairs, bridging 2 panes of glass. And then here I see Jake's manager, Bobby, rolling in there and pulling out a thing of lighter fluid, and they light the glass on fire.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's some crazy shit that goes on, but you know what? I have to say some of the most welcoming people that I've had on this podcast in the now little over a year that I've been doing it had been from the deathmatch community. So I got nothing but love for anybody doing it.
Absolutely.
Well, what would you say it takes to be a deathmatch wrestler? Because it is a whole different animal.
I always like telling people, whoever is getting into this genre, obviously you can do whatever you want, but get wrestling training first.
Right.
Like, get that under your belt. Don't just jump into it. It's not as easy as everyone thinks it is. And if you're ill prepared on it, bad things can happen. But,
oh yeah. I mean, even the people, not to interrupt you, even the people that are prepared and have been in the trainings, accidents happen. I mean, just look at what happened to Hoodfoot, like probably a year or so ago now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, accidents are still going to happen, but at least you will have a solid foundation, like Hoodfoot does. Hoodfoot has a solid foundation, and he knows what he's doing, and he can, he knows his shit.
Totally.
That's the difference between just getting into it and then, kind of taking your time and learning the ropes and get through the aspect of just learning how to, get involved and do the wrestling scene first. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, totally. And you know what? I think that's a common theme that anybody that I've talked to that's been in death matches has all said, get that solid foundation first. And then if you want to from there get going into death matches, by all means, but just know that, that solid foundation of the basics is what's going to take you further than you would just jumping in there without it.
Absolutely. I mean, and obviously people can do whatever they want, and
oh yeah,
they can make their own decisions. I'm not here to stir anyone away from becoming a deathmatch wrestler or anything. I'm just saying,
no, totally.
Here's some advice if you want it. There it is. If not, do whatever.
No, totally understandable. And one thing that I've noticed with all the people that I've had on in the deathmatch community is, when putting together my notes, is seeing some of the unique names for some of these matches. And I took particular note of a couple. Well, excuse me, drinking my beer here, but anyways, some of the names that I've taken note of that I'm like, okay, I gotta ask about these. First off, Tokyo Tower Death Match. Like, what the heck? What the heck was that?
It sounds fucking insane, and it sounds like an anime, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does. Tokyo Towers, like, obviously, you get that vibe just from hearing that name. But then once you are there and you're able to see it and just see how crazy everything is built, it's insane. It's just a shitload of light tubes built up to look like towers.
Gotcha.
But
the next one was like the Cylinder, Iowa Vacation Land 3-way.
I can tell you, I have no idea what the fuck that is.
Because I was looking it up, and I think it was you, Mickey Knuckles, and I forget having a brain fart on the third guy, but I'm like, I saw the name of that match pop up, and I'm like, what the hell was that?
Was this H2O show?
It might have been. I think I got noted here. It was in 2022.
It was probably me, Mickey, and Chris Bradley.
That might have been it. And speaking of him, I actually just recorded with him the other week, and his episode, I'm believing, is getting released. No, not today's Monday, Wednesday.
Dude, it's super good. He's one of those. He's one of the ones that are going to wind up blowing up, and it's going to wind up catching everyone. If it catches everyone off guard, you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I had that sense of him being able to blow up and do something and become a name and do all this good stuff. So
I definitely got that vibe from him for sure. And
yeah.
This next one, a couple of years ago, back in 2021, it just said the bigger the better death match.
People really come up with the craziest fucking names for this shit.
I know, right?
It's so. Sometimes I feel like it's just the top, the last person who did it, and I get it, but that's just me.
No,
the names are a little confusing for the fans who are trying to like understand.
Nope, trust me, I've definitely come across many of those, and I'm like, good Lord, where, like, can I get a job just naming some of these? Because holy shit.
Like there's some out there called light tube fuckery. Like why?
I think I've heard of some of those.
Why does the fuckery have to be in there? Why can't it just be light tubes or like light tube bundles, or why can't it be something simple?
No, I guess just to have the F word in there. I don't.
Yeah, a cool fucking little niche to it.
Yeah, just having that little thing. Well, each guest, if I can, I like to talk some stuff that, outside of wrestling. And I was noticing on Facebook and, some social medias, your Twitch and in gaming. And, I might not be as big of a gamer as I used to be, but I still do have, I got my Xbox Series S, and I am trying to get I want to get my hands on that WWE 2K23 because everything I'm hearing about it, I'm like, God damn it, I want that fucking game.
Yeah.
But what system do you have, and like what are some of the games that you're kind of hooked on right now?
Oh, dude, I have the Xbox Series S and I have a PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, but I mostly play on my Xbox, and I have like PlayerUnknown's Battleground, PUBG. I have Fortnite. I have Halo. Right now, I'm really hooked on the Resident Evil series. So their newest remake they did, 4.
Oh, Resident Evil 4.
Oh yeah, I just been playing the shit out of that. That's been my go-to after I get off work. That's my calm down.
Oh yeah, no, I've always been curious about the Resident Evil series. I've never ended up actually jumping in on any of them. I know plenty of people that have been into them.
They're not bad, in my opinion. I think once you get past 4, it starts to get a little hokey. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. There's something about just zombies that it's just eye catching for me, and it's just a fun little thing. You know what I'm saying?
No, I totally get you there. I think the last game that I bought, the last 2 were actually Ninja Turtle ones. I got the Shredder's Revenge and the Cowabunga collection. I actually, man, me growing up, it was wrestling and Ninja Turtles, my 2 things.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know when I heard that on the Cowabunga collection, they were going to have 2 versions of Turtles in Time. I'm like, oh my God, I have to have that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those
Super
were the
bad.
first, oh man, those were the first 2 games on that Cowabunga collection that I went and I played right through them and beat them. I loved every damn minute of it.
Oh, dude. Do you know that they're making the remake of the movie?
The remake of the original movie?
Yeah, Ninja Turtles movie.
Huh. I had not heard about that. Although my favorite, my absolute favorite of those original 3 was The Secret of the Ooze.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, no. In my opinion, one of the only sequels that, in my opinion, surpasses the original. Not saying that the original is bad. The original was a classic.
Yeah.
But Secret of the Ooze, by far my favorite of those first 3.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah.
Heck, my figure collection, my little budding figure collection that I actually have a 30th anniversary Super Shredder downstairs.
That's fucking sick.
Oh man, it's pretty sweet looking figure. I'm telling you, it's big, but it's pretty fucking cool.
Oh yeah.
I know. I think I have all 3 of the original movies, and I think they only made 2 of them new ones, but I got them both.
I used to have I forgot which one had Kevin Nash Shredder. I think there was 1 or 2. It was either
That
one or
was
2.
Secret of the Ooze. That very end, after they had the little scene with Vanilla Ice in it.
Okay.
Like right towards the very end.
I had a DVD that he was on, and there was like a 2010. There was like a Wizard Con out in Chicago, and me and my buddy went out there, and I was able to meet Kevin Nash for the first time, which was fucking super cool.
Nice.
And I had him sign the DVD, so that's the only like I still have like the Mankind picture I had from then, and a couple other things, but those are only the cool fan things I still have.
I have a little growing collection of wrestling autographs. My dogs are acting crazy right now, but I have, and I'm rather proud of these. I actually had, and we'll talk about him in a little bit, Alex Colon. I actually have signed ring-worn kick pads of his. I have, let me see, trying to think. I'm having a brain fart here, but I have signed figures from Keith Lee, Swerve, Kushida, Taya Valkyrie, like whole budding little collection that I'm kind of proud of. Oh,
sorry.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I can't see you anymore.
Oh fuck. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on
here. All right, a little technical difficulty, but we're back. But yeah, I remember most of those figures that I mentioned that got signed were from actually Revolver shows that pretty happy about. And actually, speaking, we talked a bunch about death matches. Promotion ran by the Carver was actually here in Omaha. I believe it was either late last month or early here April. They made they did a show here in Omaha that, if you got this certain ticket, it included an entry into this raffle where the winner would get something that was used in the show signed by everybody on the card.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I won it until he literally walks over and hands me this section of a door that was broken in a match that signed by everybody. There's this little dent in the door and like a blood splat like on there. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be cool, but I'm gonna be interesting to figure out how the hell I'm getting that damn thing displayed down here. But man, walking out of the show that night with that section of the door underneath my arm, I'm like, good God, what the fuck am I gonna do with this?
Yeah.
And then I tell you, my wife saw that thing for the first time, and she looks at like, is that blood on there? I'm like, yeah. Oh man, that was funny as hell. But to kind of round off the show, I have two categories. One's a bit of a name game where I try to theme it towards the guests where you've either shared a ring or you've at least been on the same card with some of these people. And I name them off, you give me your first thoughts on them. First one, kind of mentioned that I just have an item signed by this guy, Alex Colon.
If we're not talking in the wrestling setting, truly
Either.
probably one of the nicest people. He a little bit behind the scenes, he's helped me out a lot with just like the business side of wrestling. Just some of the stuff I wasn't taught whenever I was, getting into the business. So, and he's done a lot he's been around pretty much ever since I started. So it's just, we've been able to catch up here and there,
Oh yeah. And I know when I first started getting into GCW, where I first saw him was in, wanted to say it was the Art of War Games. They had the Art of War Games show, and he was in there, and like, God, I just remember watching that and I'm like, holy shit. And then when I started the podcast, I'm like, God damn it, if I had like a bucket list of like big names I wanted on, he was on there. And wouldn't you know it, I ended up getting him on. And I'm like, when he first said that he'd do it, I about dropped my damn phone.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And that was, oh man, nothing but love for him. Next up, another guy that I've had on, and he recently, last year, won the most recent CZW Tournament of Death, Bobby Beverly, the Bev.
Yeah, man, you're bringing up all the good ones. There's not too many of those left, but Bobby's one of the good ones left. He's just a true friend, kind-hearted. He, down to earth. Not to give away everything, but just much love and respect to him.
Oh yeah, no, and he definitely, when talking to him, when I had him on, it definitely had that same vibe, that everything that you were saying about him. So yeah, nothing but love and respect. Yeah. Now, for those that will end up watching this on YouTube, you might notice that this next guy is actually on the shirt that my guest is wearing right now.
Yes, sir.
Sean Wayne Murdoch.
There's so much that him and I have been through professionally and personally, and like I said, I've known him since I got into wrestling, and I call him my big brother because legit.
No,
he's the
I totally get you.
When family is not, and when that side of the family is lacking, he's always been there to help pick me up, kind of dust me off, tell me to get the shit over with, and kind of keep moving.
No, totally get you there. Always good to have somebody like that behind you. And I've attempted to have him on, and we actually had dates set up, but then, well, I've made no secret about some of the mental health and personal stuff that I've had going on. When I originally had him scheduled, my wife and I we had been pregnant with twin girls. They weren't due until November, but they decided to show up in late July. And they only made it about a week. They're the reason I got this tattoo here. But it was shortly after, well, it was probably right about the time I took a self-imposed break after this, that I had him scheduled to be on, but then, he was like, basically like, if you need to take a break, and with the damn schedule that guy keeps, he's a damn machine. So, hopefully here someday we'll get a date nailed down to have him on.
Yeah.
He's definitely, like I mentioned with Alex Cologne, one of those guys that's like those names that I'm like, God damn it, I got to have these guys on.
Yeah. I hate hearing that stuff that's going on. You know what I mean? Yeah, Murdoch's just been there when a lot of people weren't. So I'll always have love for Murdoch.
Oh
wish,
yeah,
wish nothing but the best for him.
No, definitely. And I've had my handful of friends exactly like that. So, like I said, it's always good to have people like that behind you. Last but not least, for the name game, a guy that another guy that I've attempted to have on. It's just, like I said, with the busy schedule that a lot of independent guys keep, and well, even people on national TV, it's just a matter of nailing down a date. But I'm a huge fan of his, Akira.
Yeah. Kira, good people. I remember when he first broke in, we used to wrestle at a place down here in Indy that I kind of can't talk about anymore, but I remember yeah, I remember when he first started out, and seeing him come from what he was there at that point in time in his life to where he is at now, the sky's the limit for him. You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
He can accomplish whatever he wants. Anyone can.
So. Oh yeah, I fully agree with you there. I'm super huge fan of his, and correct me if I'm wrong. Right now, he's involved in a little group in MLW with Raven.
The new flock, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
that's cool, dude.
Oh yeah, when I saw him in there in the picture that I saw, I'm like, oh damn, that is fucking sweet,
dude. Fuck yeah.
That's wild, and I'm happy for him. Like, I was happy when I heard he was first getting that whole deal with MLW, and now seeing him in there with that group of Raven, I'm like, holy shit,
that's awesome. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Well, next category I have a little bit of random questions. Some might be wrestling related, some might not be. I never really know until I'm literally putting my notes together. But I give you the question, you give me the first answer that pops into your head. First one, and one that I always have to keep this one on there. Craziest in-match moment for you?
I think one of the craziest ones was the ICW weekend. I think it was like no holds barred 13-14. Me and Neil Diamond in the showboat, and just like you only ever hear or see this bear with me. You only ever see this in like wrestling veterans tell about this stuff, like moments and all that. And we shared, that was probably one of, you'll see me at some point during the match just look up and smile, because right then it clicked and I was able to understand. I was able to like feel what the crowd was given to us. And it was so overwhelming, especially right in the moment. But boy, was that one of the greatest moments that I think I've ever felt in my career so far.
Oh no, I can imagine. That moment had to have just been something special. I know, for me, I've been able to be I was the special guest ring announcer for a friend's match once, and like I got a whole entrance and everything. So like in that sense, that for me was kind of crazy, because I remember I was back behind the curtain and like, good God, was I fucking nervous as shit. Like I'm literally pacing back there like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm trying to remember who it was that came and kind of talked my anxiety down. But man, when they announced me and I got like, man, I still remember to this day when I first got the offer to do it. And I'm like, you're telling me I get to be in the ring with a microphone?
Yeah.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah.
But as far as like sheer craziness that I've seen, other than that Jake Christ match, which by far I think craziest damn thing I've ever witnessed in person, a guy that I also know that's a wrestler here in town, in the area, he was in this promotion's version of the Money in the Bank ladder match. They had a ladder bridge between the ring apron and the guardrail. And I see him with a guy that he had him on his back, like reminiscent of Sheamus's White Noise, where like the head's down here. And I see him look down at the ladder. And I'm like, oh God. And he's on the opposite side of the ring from me at the time. And all of a sudden, I just see him look down and jumps, and the ladder just folds and they both disappear. And I'm like, God damn.
Yeah.
One thing I like to ask each of the deathmatch guys that I've had on, and I've had a wide range of answers to this question. What is a weapon you would like to avoid being used on you in a match if you had the choice?
I think this is the one I've been asked a couple of times, and it's been syringes. I don't know.
Yeah,
I can do tattoos, obviously, and I can do needles, but just I don't think I'll be able to do syringes.
Yeah, no, especially here recently, as of like the last month or two, good Lord, just Google up syringes used in a freaking wrestling match and you'll see some shit you don't want to see.
Well, me and Adam Bueller were supposed to do a syringes and fish hook and carpet strip death match in IWA back in like 2015, I think. And I'm glad the syringes were forgotten, because that whole era. Anyways,
yeah.
Even the fish hooks, they were. It's just dumb shit. You know what I mean? It's just stupid.
Yeah. No, I can. I'm kind of wincing just hearing about fish hooks being used in a match. Yeah. But one that kind of surprised me at first, but when he brought up and explained why, I'm like, okay, I get it. Alex Colon brought up toothpicks.
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of people get hurt with those. like
Yeah.
bad.
Oh yeah, and he would tell me that it's one thing, you might get the whole thing out when you try to pull it out, but
Oh
then
yeah.
who knows, you might break off the wrong piece, and then before you know it, you got something embedded in your skin, getting all infected and shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Fucking Madman Pondo was telling stories about still having pencil, shit still stuck in his back from that bump. So,
Speaking of Madman Pondo, another one of my favorite episodes I had on when he first told me he was gonna come on, and I'm like, some of the stories I got to hear when talking to him, it's like, God damn.
much love and respect to him.
Oh, totally.
I was able to kind of fill my bucket list and was able to cross him off. He was one of the ones I wanted to do just because he was like one of the original deathmatch people I was watching. Him, Nick Gage, you have Wife Beater, Lobo, Zandig, all those, all those fucking names from back then.
Oh yeah.
And Pondo was one of the ones I wanted to be in the ring with. So.
Oh yeah, and speaking of kind of wrestling bucket list, I still have on mine to go to. I mean, it doesn't have to be GCW, but any card that Nick Gage is on, maybe GCW, because good Lord, every GCW show I watch, you hear those first notes of his music, and it's like a goddamn mosh pit going off in that damn arena. It's like every time I watch it, I'm like, God damn, I want to be there.
Oh, dude, it's intense. People really get into that shit too, which is all the better.
Oh yeah, no, just the way you watch people's reactions, it is like, God damn, that looks like fun.
I think the cool thing I like seeing whenever his music hits is him like in this lineman's fucking football stance, and he just runs up the curtain and pounces on everyone. It's the best.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, that first little bit right when he gets out of the curtain, no, it's something else. And with the show with the name that I have, Drinking at Moe's, I would feel weird if I didn't have this question. And I mean, I already noted I finished it. But favorite drink, whether alcoholic, non, or hell, name one of each if you want.
Yeah, I'll name one of each. You're gonna hate me. I am so horrible with putting names to. It's all I can tell you is that it's a German beer, and it starts with a K. I think it's Kober. I don't want to butcher it.
Oh no, pronouncing some of those foreign names can be a little tricky sometimes.
Yeah. All I know is that starts with a K, but I think that is one of my favorite beers. Besides the usual. Like I love Coors, the little tiny little bottles.
The Coors Banquet.
Yeah, I love Coors, dude.
One of my personal favorites too. That, and one that's out of the ones that are a little more available for me, Coors Banquet, and then Kona Big Wave. Love those.
Oh shit, okay.
Like I got, when I was in the Navy, and it being, Hawaiian, you gotta have it down there. And then when I started seeing it pop up places when I got back home, I'm like, God damn, yeah.
Yes.
And then, this one that I was drinking, I didn't hear about it before me being a lifelong Green Bay Packers fan.
Ah, shit. Represent, dude. Fuck yeah.
Shortly after the start of the year, I actually got to go to my first ever game at Lambeau Field. And unfortunately didn't go the way I would have hoped, but I got to share my first ever game there with my dad. The night before, got to go on the Champions Tour. I got some sweet ass pictures that I'm definitely getting put up in my man cave when I get that set up. But they're what is it? Spotted cow, only available in Wisconsin.
What?
I got a case of the cans, and then I got another case of the bottles in my fridge out in the garage. Like that, not as available to me here in Omaha, but I've loved it.
Yeah, dude, hell yeah. Try new beers like that and trying like different brands and all that stuff. That's
and that same trip. Speaking of new beers, I had been wanting to try one of Stone Cold's Broken Skull American Lager.
Right.
But here in Omaha, it's not very available. Like, I can't find it anywhere. So I'm like, you know what? I was on that trip. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to look up if it's. We literally found one that was maybe a couple miles from the hotel we were staying at. So I'm like, can we stop here? I think they're only in 4-packs. I got the last one.
What the fuck? Okay. All
fucking delicious. I'm telling you. That guy knows how to make a damn beer.
Oh, dude.
It was fucking delicious. Next,
non-alcoholic.
Oh, non-alcoholic, yeah.
I don't know, man. I have to go with the OG. I have to go with just Mountain Dew, bro.
Okay, I can't argue there.
OG Mountain Dew, you can't go wrong with it. Yeah, there's other flavors, and some of them are good, some of them bad. Depending upon what
I do enjoy the Code Red.
Yeah, Code Red. I enjoy Live Wire.
That's
man. Their newest one, the Apple.
I don't think I've had that one yet.
Not too bad. It's not. It's all right. But OG Mountain Dew.
No, can't argue with that. I know for me, my wife always tells me I have a bit of a Dr. Pepper problem, but I love telling this joke that I tell her, I don't have a problem. I got it figured out. I only have a problem when I don't have any.
That's such a real, oh man, that's so real.
I know, right? Next up, favorite and least favorite food, because we all, even the least picky eater of us all, we all have our favorite and least favorite.
Man, I wish I could. Right now, I don't know, because I've just had gallbladder taken out, just had my taken out. Gallbladder's completely fucked me up on foods I can't eat that I used to be able to, and now it's not good. It's bad times.
Yeah. No,
I can tell you the one right now that's got me going through it and is pissed off about it is Spanish food. Just being able to go to a authentic Mexican restaurant and be able to have the chimichangas, the enchiladas, all that shit. Like,
oh yeah,
I can't have that anymore because it tears up my stomach. It sucks.
Oh yeah, no, Mexican food's a definite favorite of mine. I know, but all-time favorite, and my wife always jokes with me anytime we go to an Italian place, I always get the same damn thing: lasagna. Fucking love lasagna.
Yeah, dude. Same. There's a place here in Indy called the Old Spaghetti Factory, and dude, it's damn near the best Italian food I've tasted.
Oh yeah, no,
it's
that, or I joke whenever I talk with people that are vegetarians. Because I tell people, if that's what makes you happier, sure, by all means, go for it. But I love a damn good cheeseburger too much to be a vegetarian.
Dude, some of the shit that they're coming out with now, the vegetarian foods, it's not too bad.
I've had some that aren't terrible.
Now, for me, I can't do that. You know what I mean? I can enjoy it every now and again, but
yeah,
I got
not a whole diet based off of it.
I gotta have my In-N-Out. I gotta have my burger. I gotta have my fries. You know, I gotta have.
I am with you there. Although my going into least favorite, I know my family gives me shit about this because they're huge into this. Deviled eggs. I don't know if it's a texture thing.
Yeah.
But the one time they had me try one, I about gagged and coughed it back up. And then I'm like, nope, not doing it anymore.
Sometimes it's just the way people make them too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be the relish that's inside there. That's normally what gets me.
Although, speaking of the way people prepare it, I used to hate Brussels sprouts, but then there was a way when my wife made them for me. She had this, however the hell she prepared them, and then she roasted them. I'm like, God damn, these are fucking good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a lot of foods, it's all how you prepare them.
Yeah, right.
No,
I don't know if I have. I think right now, just because I can't deal with it body wise, it has to be Mexican food, and I hate to put it in that category, but
no, I can understand when you've loved it for so long, and then all of a sudden you can't have it. You're like, God damn, I hate you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely agree. Well, last but not least for this category, best advice for anybody wanting to get into wrestling.
Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the journey of starting from completely something that you've never done before. Just take in every single moment that you have right then, because once you're done with it, then you're pretty much starting by yourself, and like you're doing whatever it takes to get to the next level, and then so on and so forth. But just being able to take the second to enjoy the ride and enjoy the journey along that's something that gets missed, that normally don't appreciate, just learning some of the stuff. So
I can definitely understand you there. I know when I was just getting out of the Navy, I would have people ask about, stuff about enlisting, and, they were curious about this or that. And I'd always tell them, one, to be sure 100% is what you want to do, because you're going to have moments that you're going to be like, what the fuck am I doing? But then you're also going to have those moments that you more than likely would not get without it. Like the Navy, there's this tradition when the ship crosses the equator, you have this crossing the line ceremony where you're doing all sorts of wacky shit. I could do a whole nother podcast on my stories on that. But, to be able to say that you are one of the crew that did that, and then some of the places you'll get to go. Like, I always enjoy telling people about when, I think it was one of my first stops on deployment, we went to Malaysia, and there was this opportunity to go to this elephant sanctuary. And at one point they said, because they had this little river that went through, and they said, anybody that wants to get in the water with the elephants can. And I'm like, you're telling me I get to swim with elephants? Where do I put my stuff to change?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then having been born and raised into a Catholic family, one of the stops on my deployment was actually in Israel. And getting to see, like, I remember talking with a priest when I came back and did, I was coming back for something, and they was talking to the priest after the service, and I'm like, I can't even, because the Stations of the Cross are across the walls on the Catholic churches. I was like, I can't even look at those the same anymore because I've like been there, seen that one. I remember that one. Not so much that one. Oh yeah, that one. I remember that. Like actually being to those places that you spent all that time hearing about, and like it was something else. And I always tell people when they ask if I liked it or not, I'm like, like any job, there was parts I liked, parts I didn't, but I got to do some cool shit I wouldn't have got to do without it, so I'm not too mad.
Exactly. And that's the same thing that goes with wrestling. Like, I can sit here and I can be like, oh yeah, and enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey. You gotta want it. You gotta have the love for it. You gotta want to go for it. You have to be able to like endure the shitty, crappy parts about wrestling to be able to see everything on the other side and be able to have an appreciation for it. Yeah. Because if you can't do that, you're wasting your time.
No, totally.
So it's not, wrestling is not easy at all, business wise, and like just getting out there and performing. It's not.
Yeah, it's
people hard shit, and people take that for granted. But I'm just here telling just a different perspective. Like I said, not telling anybody what to do or
no, in a way you got to be realistic about it because you're gonna have those moments, but if it's really what you want to do, then those tough moments are gonna make the good ones that much more worth it because you're like, you know what, I went through shit to get here, so you know what, I'm good. Because hell, even with my enlistment on my deployment, there was a block of time where I had to stay up for 4 days straight. I didn't even get to lay down. And well, let's just say I was a bit delirious by the end of it. Like last thing I remember anybody saying was, we might want to let him go to sleep now.
Yeah.
But yeah, going through the hard times make the good ones that much more worth it.
Absolutely. 100%.
But damn it, I earned this.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
That is about all I have. But before we go, where can people find you social media wise and all that? So if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, just Dale Patrick's. Nothing fancy. Twitch, Dale Patrick's. Do whatever.
Yep, we will have all that in the description. Well, like I said, that is about all I have. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today, and best of luck with everything you got coming up.
Dude, thank you. I appreciate it.